What is going on, everyone? It's Brody back again to answer another tennis question. And today's tennis topic is going to be about actually demoing tennis rackets. You've heard me talk about it a lot on this channel, and now I'm going to tell you what you need to look for and what you need to be doing when you actually go ahead and demo that tennis racket. So, one of the first things that you need to do is going to be to figure out what rackets that you actually want to demo. These rackets can vary in different ways that they play, different ways that they're made, the head sizes, the shape of the racket. So there's a bunch of different ways you can go with this. But usually if you've been working with a coach or if you have an idea of what style of gameplay you want to be using, then you can usually just either with a quick Google search or a quick comment down below so I can help you with this, is just see what actually racket you should be using for that specific style of game that you want to play. It's not that complicated. Sometimes if you're looking for, say, like, you want a racket that's nothing but power, but you also want it to have extreme amounts of control, you're on two opposite sides of the spectrum there. So you have to maybe look for one in the middle or pick and choose. But usually, one of the great things about demos is that you can usually get up to 3 of them at once. So, using that same scenario, if you want an extremely powerful one, you want an extremely one that has a lot of control, and then you get one right in the middle, that works out perfectly. So once you then get those rackets, there's a few things that you should do once you're on the court and ready to play with them. First thing first is you want to know what each one's going to do. So you've already decided you got a power, you got a control, you got a middle of the road. Good, God, okay. So next, what you're going to do is you're going to play with them, and you're not just going to play with them once, you're going to play with them each for a little bit. Now, here's something that a lot of people get caught in with demoing new rackets. It's what I call new racket syndrome. You play with a new racket and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. Please give me more. This is the best racket I've ever had. Do not fall victim to new racket syndrome. If you do, you could be out quite a bit of money, because new rackets, not necessarily the most expensive things in the world, but definitely not the cheapest things in the world. So with tennis, it's one of those weird things where if you use the racket, the brand new one that you buy, not the demo, you're supposed to use the demo. That's the whole purpose of it. But if you buy a brand new one from the demo and you only play with it once, you didn't really get a good feel for it, you didn't try it with a few other things, that's when it can really start to hurt you, because you get the new racket, you play with it, you're like, this is not what I wanted, this is not what I like, I don't like this at all, please return. You do not get to return that. That is your racket. You used it. It cannot be returned. So, I'm just saying, demo the rackets effectively. And that's where the next few steps will come in. So, you've got your rackets. You're playing with them. You tried them out more than once. You're actually knowing what the rackets do. Second thing I would say is, just so that you actually know what's going on and to help avoid that new racket syndrome, is get a notepad and write down what you actually think about the rackets. This is probably one of the most underrated things that people can do, because it allows you to actually see what's going on with the racket once you're out of the tennis, just like euphoria you have of trying a new racket. It happens to all of us. No one is immune to it. If you try the racket, write down what you think, come back to it a few hours later, and that way you can then see what you thought about it, what you actually liked, what you actually didn't like, and make an informed decision rather than a full decision just based purely off emotion, to where you didn't logically think through what's going to happen. So that's step 2. Get the notepad, write down everything. Step 3 is just play with it a lot. You want to play with it at least a few times, at least a few hours, because you want to try every which way you know and how to hit that tennis ball. You want to hit your forehand, your backhand, your slice, serve, volleys, overheads, smashes, almost anything under the sun you can do with that tennis racket. You want to hit that, you want to use that tennis racket for. So be sure to try it in every which way, play a lot of points, play maybe a practice match with someone that you know, or just hit around and rally back and forth so you can get a real good feel for what the level of control is, what the level of power is, what the level of spin is, what the level of accuracy is. It's all dependent on how well you actually go and try and use the racket. People can say all they want about a racket, but each one of us is different. So we all like different things. If you like something that, say, someone else doesn't like say you have a pure drive, and that's a very powerful racket. If you love the pure drive, great for you. If you have someone else over here that likes more control in their racket, they may not like the pure drive. That's great for them. You are you. Be you. You know what you like. And with that, it's one of the beauties of tennis because you get to make this all personal to you. Now, with these demo rackets, you do have a bit of a limited time frame. So usually what you want to look out for is you don't want to get demo rackets on a week where you know you're going to be out, you're not going to play much, because then you just wasted the money to get the demos anyway because you didn't get to use them enough. You got to use the rackets. That's one of the best things about having them. So that's where if you do demo rackets, you can usually find ways to either section off times, or if you have a few lessons coming up. I usually do this with people if they know they have private lessons coming up or group lessons. Usually what I'll have them do is I'll have them get 2 rackets that are really similar to what they think they want, and then split the time evenly of the lesson. So if you have an hour lesson, you split the time into 2 30-minute intervals. First 30 minutes, you use one racket. Second 30 minutes, you use the second racket. And then you keep going from there. That's a very efficient and effective way I found that people can actually judge which racket they like better. And so that's what I just recommend for you to do, because it'll just give you a more easy way to see what's going on. And the coach that is running the lesson, or whether it be group or private, will also be able to offer you feedback. That's another great thing about demos is you want to also be somewhere and play with either someone who can give you feedback because they know your game, or can give you feedback based off what they're seeing, like a coach, and be like, oh, okay, this is what you were able to do before. This is what you're doing with the racket. Here's where I think you should make some adjustments, and maybe this racket may not be the best for you, but let's try over here. They can just keep the conversation going rather than having you just be dead in the water trying to do on your own, not really seeing a difference, not feeling a difference, and then getting frustrated because you don't know what's going on. Now, there are a few other things you can do with the demoing of the rackets. You can find those down in the description box below. I have a few more ideas down there for you, but the main ones I've outlined here, those are really going to be the main ones I want you to just take note of and really implement into your training and practice. So with that being said, that's mainly what I have to say today on demos. I hope you liked the video. Leave a like if you did. Comment down below what rackets you're thinking of demoing. See where you're at, if I may be able to help you with it. And subscribe to the channel so that we can grow this channel and get more of this information out to the people who need it. Because there's a lot of tennis misinformation going around in the community. And I took it upon myself to make this channel so that we could get rid of that. So with that being said, like the video, comment down below, subscribe so we can grow the channel and grow the message. And share this video with a friend if they're looking to just get more out of their demos. Maybe even they're starting to take their first demos. Send this to them so that we can help them out and that we can all enjoy tennis even more than we have before. And as always, take care.